Hey class, I just wanted to do a brief video here to give you guys some additional instruction on what I'm looking for in terms of the executive summary and the presentation. Now I know the presentation is due before the executive summary, but it should, a little flyaway going on there, sorry about that, a little vanity. Uh, uh, but the presentation should essentially follow the same structure. Okay, so you guys are all graduating master's level students at this point, so I'm not going to give you a format. I'm not going to tell you this is what it should look like. There's lots of criteria in there. We've been going over what should be in there for the last several weeks in our discussion forums, and I think the criteria for it's pretty clear. So I'm going to leave it up to you to determine what these things look like. What I would recommend is that you perhaps follow the structures of a typical good paper. And I don't want to sound pedantic here, but it should have an introduction, it should have a body, and it should have a conclusion. And in your body, you should be sure to address all of the issues that are important for this case. So the things that we've really focused in on are the background, right? So the background, why is this an issue? Why is it important to you? And moreover, what sort of data do we have that helps us understand the nature of this problem? Okay, so again, we've been focusing on, evidence to support our ideas here. And I know a lot of you have been doing some good research on the field to finding out what data there is out there on the nature of the problem itself. Why is it a problem? What are some statistics to show the problem? How extensive is it? Et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's the background. So you're kind of setting the table here for the concern that you have. Why is this a pressing issue? And what information do you have to support this as a pressing issue? Okay, so you might have, briefly describe it, why you've chosen it, and here's my evidence to support the nature of the concern based on the research that I've done. Okay, then the next major part of the project was to discuss some leadership-oriented solutions that you're able to give to address this particular problem. So you may want to come up with 2 or 3 main ideas. Of course, I want you to give me some theory, as usual, some background on these things, but I really want you to apply these ideas and tell me why these ideas you feel are going to address this particular problem that you've just laid out. So if it's a broader societal issue like human trafficking, then the solution's probably going to be kind of broader. It's going to be broader in terms of perhaps changing the culture, changing the attitudes of people in the church towards people who are trafficked. Perhaps it may be coming up with creative ways of incorporating and partnering with ministries that are dealing with this issue, right? So I'm not expecting you to come up with a new ministry to address this, right? The nature of some of these problems are a little broader. They're a little more adaptive challenges that we have to speak to. And again, I'm hoping that by this point you guys are familiar with and comfortable with things like strategy and change theory, right? So bring some of these ideas to bear. How do we change hearts? How do we change minds? How do we change organizations using some of these ideas? Okay, so that's the big picture there. And then at the end, you're going to have a conclusion, right? And you're going to sum it all up, a nice pithy statement there. And then, of course, any bibliographic references, okay? So that's what your executive summary should look like for this case study. Now let's talk about the presentation. Okay, so your presentation is going to be based on this, and so what I'm hoping is for you to guide us through a handful of slides, which give us, first of all, your background and passion in this area, then the background information that you were able to collect to support why this is a problem, how widespread the problem is, the nature of the problem, et cetera, and then to guide us through some of your proposed solutions using some ideas from the leadership organizational world and even broader. I said initially in the, again, you guys should review and re-review the outlines for this project. And one of the things I said was that I want you to kind of go back through the curriculum here in the program to address some of these issues. So, so again, I know we're kind of in a leadership-focused class here, current issues of leadership studies, but don't feel like you're limited in the approach that you would take to address it. So, for example, going back to our class on culture, engaging culture, going back to our class on, maybe family, some of our theology, whatever issues that you can bring to bear to address this particular problem, I want to know that. The big idea here, folks, is to see how well you guys are thinking and incorporating what you've learned in this program to solve a real world issue. Okay, so you're graduate students now, right? So I want you to think big. I want you to think, this is my chance to show what I've learned and how it can address a real problem in the world that's important to me, right? So that's the big picture here, right? So I think if you can do that in both the executive summary and you can do that in your presentation, you'll do really good. Okay, that's really what I'm looking for here, is for you to kind of bring it all together, to synthesize some research skills and background, to synthesize some ideas and information and concepts that you've learned in the program, and bring those things together, and just to show some leadership and some thought leadership and ability to really critically analyze a situation and to bring about some solutions to a particular concern. Okay, so that's the big picture there. Again, there's no outline, there's no template, there's no point 1, 2, 3. I think I've kind of given you the big bullet picture ideas here. And so I'm going to count on you guys to be able to creatively synthesize all that into an impactful and meaningful presentation and case study. Okay? So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please do let me know. I'm here to help you, and I'm looking forward to working with you, seeing your presentations and reading your executive summaries as well. So God bless you guys.